Hi everyone, hope you're doing fine. Welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to present the initial situation, the project announcement, and the map of the third sequence of the fourth year English program, Me, My Community, and My Citizenship. Of course, many teachers have asked me or whether we have to devote like a plan for the initial situation. Of course, you have to design a plan for the initial situation because it is the first thing that you do while introducing a sequence. So, many teachers are going to say that project announcement is not included in the in this year's program. I just wanted to post a video which is going to be useful for the coming years. That's why I'm going to make it exhaustive. So to start with, of course, your initial situation should, as I said, have a plan. Here we have, of course, the school, the level, and the teacher, and of course the title of the sequence. And instead of writing lesson, because you are not going to present lesson, as I always say, the initial situation has never been a lesson. It is an introduction. So you have to write initial situation, and if you have a project to announce, you write project announcement. And then if for the framework, we have no framework to apply for the initial situation. Concerning the objectives, by the end of the session, the pupils will be able to introduce and announce the communicative intention of the new sequence in terms of topic, discourse, and structure, and to stimulate the students' curiosity to learn this new sequence. This objective should be applied to all the sequences that you're going to present to your pupils. So concerning the target competencies, you're going to interact and you're going to interpret, but your pupils are not going to produce anything because they're going just to interact with you, so we remove produce. Concerning the domains, here oral and written, so both are involved. Target structures, here we are going to mention all the structures we're going to deal with. It means all the grammar points, it means all the grammar lessons we're going to tackle in the sequence. We mention them in the target structures. Then we have cross-curricular competencies, including intellectual, methodological, communicative, and of course social and personal competence. We have the materials we're going to use. Of course, in the initial situation, you have to use a lot of materials, at least flashcards. So this is the listing you can do. And of course, core values are very, very important in this initial situation. They are important because you're going to teach them to your pupils, of course, implicitly, and they are important to be mentioned in your plan because by the end of the sequence, you have to make your pupils reach all these values. Then directly we move to the warm-up phase. Of course, warm-up should be present even in an initial situation plan because the aim is to break the atmosphere, so you don't have to, it doesn't have to be related to the topic of the initial situation or the topic of the sequence, but the most important thing is that you break the ice and make them feel at ease. After that, I'm going to ask questions to get to the point that I want. Can you live alone? Who do you live with? Why is it important to live in a society or in a community? So here I'm going to try to help them and make them say what I want in order to not get out of the topic. And of course, I'm going to ask the famous question, which is going to pave the way to the target topic: who generally needs help? And of course, before showing flashcards, your pupils are going to answer, and they're going to take the flashcards corresponding to each answer, so that your pupils are going to feel motivated and they're going to gain confidence. So we have here flashcards of poor people, victims of war, sick or ill people, victims of environmental incidents like natural disasters, orphans, and so on. So I'm going to stick these pictures on the board, and I'm going to ask my pupils, how do we call this act of helping this kind of people? And they're going to say it in Arabic or in French. They're going to give them the word in English. We call this charity. And of course, you're going to show them this picture because some pupils are visual, so they have to see in order to understand. And of course, you have to take into account all your pupils' learning styles. And of course, I'm going to ask another question. What are the characteristics of a good citizen engaged in charity? And here I'm going to draw something on the board presenting the characteristics of someone who is engaged in charity. Of course, he has to be responsible, he has to be human, he has to be this and has to be that. And then I'm going to explain what is a charity, and I'm going to explain through discussion that we have some associations of charity, and we can participate as a volunteer, we can participate as a sponsor or as a member. So you have to explain all these keywords because they are very important. And I ask my pupils, how can we help these people? And of course, they're going to say donation, blood donation, clothes, money, gift, food, whatever come to their minds. And of course, after discussing all this, I'm going to move to the initial situation. So here the initial situation should be written on the board, and your pupils have to write it on their copybooks. If you want to gain time, just prepare it on a handout and ask your pupils to stick it on their copybooks. Here the initial situation is, as I always say, related to the last lesson, which is I think and write. The solution of the initial situation is going to be solved in the lesson of I think and write, because your pupils now are not going to write any article about charity, and they cannot like have arguments to convince their classmates to join the unity of the association of charity. So I'm going to present this as a problem, and I'm going to say to my pupils that we're going to solve this problem by the end of the sequence. And then we have project announcement. I think that the project announcement has been removed since we don't have much time to do it, and our pupils of course are concentrated on the BM exam. So here the project announcement, briefly speaking, your pupils are going to prepare a flyer. So they're going to like create an association, like an abstract association of charity, and they're going to prepare a flyer which should contain the people they're going to help, and it has to be addressed to specific people. They're going to state the goals of this charity, and they're going to call for sponsors willing to fund the charity. And here, that's why I say that sponsor, volunteer, and member are keywords, because they're going to be included in the project announcement. So here, sponsors like Ministry of National Education or private businesses or celebrities or whatever, and they have to write it in Arabic, in English, and in French, in all languages, so that it's going to be accessible to everyone. And of course, it's going to be posted on the school billboard, of course, after finishing this project. So I think it's motivating, I like it, and it is very, very practical and feasible, and your pupils will be like very, very eager to prepare it. So their project, as I said, so you have to make them search for a name, search for a logo, color and design the flyer. They have to choose whether they are going to write it or they're going to type it. They have to mention their phone numbers, emails, Facebook or Instagram accounts. They are going to choose the people they're going to prepare this flyer for example, collecting coats and scarves for homeless people. So if they choose homeless people, so the object is very specific. If they choose, for example, victims of war, or if they choose orphans, so depending. And they are going to choose the donation. Are they going to offer blood or money or clothes or gifts or whatever? So this way I'm going to teach my pupils to be responsible, to be human, to be tender, to be mature, to be helpful, and so on and so forth. So all these are values that are very, very important. And now we move to the lessons that so concerning listening, we're going to have two scripts. So one script about the letter of mom, which is addressed to her 15 years old daughter, and the script of Mrs. Drift's interview. Now you have, of course, the freedom to bring your own script, or to skip some parts, or to leave some passages, or you're really free to do whatever you want. Then we move to pronunciation. Pronunciation, we have silent letters and pronunciation of final S, which are very, very important lessons, and they're going to be, of course, integrated in a grammar or a listening lesson, or even a reading lesson. Don't present pronunciation as a separate lesson, except for the lessons which are somehow difficult. And then we move to grammar. In grammar, we have the imperative for advice, recommendations, and instructions. We have the first conditional type 1. We have sequencers. We have expressing likes and dislikes. So that's all we have. Here, something very important. Try to make like a harmony between listening, pronunciation, and grammar. Try to not present the scripts as like at once, and then you present pronunciation, and then you present grammar, because your pupils are going to get bored. So try to present listening, then pronunciation integrated in listening, then a grammar lesson. So how are we going to contextualize our grammar points? You have to scan your scripts and see which target structures are present in each script, and try to present the grammar point just after the script you present to your pupils, so that it's going to be contextualized. We move now to reading. So for reading, I prefer to bring your own text. Otherwise, if you don't have any text to present to your pupils, just take the text of globalization on page 118 and text about Algerian charity groups, I think on the next page. Then we move to I Learn to Integrate. So here in I Learn to Integrate, I'm going to teach my pupils to write an open letter in which they like weight up the advantages and the disadvantages of the cultural globalization, and express their opinion and points of view. And at the end, we're going to solve the problem of the initial situation. Here they're going to write an article for their school magazine to sensitize and raise their classmates' awareness about the importance of the charity work, and the importance of being a volunteer or a member of a charity unity, and recommend an original list of humanitarian and environmental activities that can help our community. So that's all, my dear followers. I hope it was useful. I'm working on the coming lessons. I hope I can provide you with all the lessons before the end of the year, of course, of the academic year. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.